And we are live and we are back.
Let's go.
I'm Cory.
I'm Jordan.
And this is the Cordan Full Effect podcast, and we are back.
Like we never left.
We are back like we never left. Episode
50.
Episode. This is the 50 of the numbered episodes. This is episode like 54 or something like that. Regardless though, this probably close actually to 60. We got a couple of anyways. Look at Cory. Cory can't stay focused. Yes, we finally made it to the halfway mark to the century. But episode 50, this is for David Robinson. If you don't know David Robinson, he was center for San Antonio Spurs, but he really should be thankful that Tim Duncan showed up so he get those 2 rings. Although he was a great player before then, but those rings did not. He was getting his ass kicked by Hakeem Olajuwon. Regardless, though, David Robinson, 14. Well, everybody got to ask about Hakeem Olajuwon. It's Hakeem. Regardless. The issue is David Robinson's like one of the best defensive centers of all time, but Hakeem, Hakeem Olajuwon was getting to that word. But 14 years, all of them with the Spurs, 10-time All-Star, 2 championships. Like I said, those 2 championships were once Tim Duncan got there, and he was the MVP in 1995. He's on the 50th anniversary team, and likely as probably the 75th one that just dropped. And he got inducted to the Hall of Fame the same time that Michael Jordan and John Stockton did as well. For those of you who know your NBA history, right after Michael Jordan won his second three-peat, Tim Duncan won his first championship. NBA history is very easy to remember. Lakers, Celtics, Jordan, Duncan, LeBron, Curry. Anyways, and I feel like this. Fact check me on that if you want to. That's how championships go. Other note, Mike Singletary. You know this is. You know Mike Singletary is, Jordan. Don't tell me you don't. Yeah, okay, yeah. The Bears Hall of Fame linebacker.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, yeah.
Come on, yo. You gotta give me a little bit.
I'm making sure. You play linebacker. I'm just making sure. I didn't know if you seen. Yeah. The funny thing is, he's like a priest or a pastor or something like that.
Is he really?
Yeah, but
but
if you watch it,
I may confess for all his sins that he did as a linebacker, but all the heads he took off.
And then I don't know if you know about Phillip Rivers. They said, I think he's a devout Christian or whatever. But they said like he don't cuss, and usually everybody cusses who play. Cussing isn't a sin if you're playing football. But they said Phillip Rivers, like he be talking trash, and they said he's never cussed when he's talking trash to people. And I'd be watching some of the Mike Singletary highlights, and I don't think he'd be cussing there either. He'd be like, no, that's Lawrence Taylor who said come at you like a pack of wild dogs. But that's Lawrence Taylor who said that.
Oh gosh.
No, Lawrence, you're coming at me like a pack of wild dogs. One of the best deepest players ever. But damn, I'm not going to ruin 51. But if you know your football, you know who's up next for 51, another linebacker on the Bears. Crazy. But so that's it. Damn, we're going linebacker back to back. We doing.
It's a couple of
51. You know who 52 is. You know who 52 is. You already know who 52 is. Oh my goodness. But all right. But Jordan, please break down to the people what we discuss on the podcast.
So for our first time listeners, we talk about health and
wealth
and fitness and
finances
and everything in between.
And we will make sure you save more and say less.
And keep making better your best.
Yes. Look, Cory said Jordan do the intro. I forgot Cory. Cory forgot he has to talk.
No, it's all good, bro.
Why he's about to take a sip of water? Look at that. Why he's about to take a sip of water?
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to make sure we get
and do the intro. Yeah,
I got you. Look, for our first time, I'm not even for our first time listeners. For anybody, please make sure you like, share, comment, rate, review. Okay. The way this works is our podcast keeps going, keeps getting out there, keeps becoming more world renowned. All right. Well, the more you share, all right, put us in the group chat, share us on Twitter, share us on IG. Okay. All right, check us out. It is Cordan in Full Effect on pretty much all major podcast listening platforms. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. What am I missing, Cory? Fill me in on the remaining. I always miss the last 2. I said it.
Amazon Audible.
Thank you. Let's put it this way. If you listen to podcasts on it, we probably on there. All right. Cordan in Full Effect. Please check us out. All right. We want all the smoke. All right. Yes.
And then the YouTube. Yeah, YouTube as well as Cordan in Full Effect. Please like, share, subscribe there as well. I was gonna say, we gotta do the order of these. So like intro, right? Then like the number, and then what we talk about, and then
you already know. I'm gonna keep it. And then you already know.
And now the disclaimer.
So for those who don't know, I know we keep saying, we're gonna have a formalized one. Look, don't listen.
Hold on.
Right?
You know to play the rock.
Look at this.
Y'all need to mind your damn business.
Look, Shut up, bitch. All right. All right, don't worry about it. Okay, just know we've been doing this for a while. We've been saying the disclaimer for a while. It's changed a little bit every time we've said it, but don't worry about it. You know what we mean. Okay, so for those who don't, this is for entertainment purposes only, strictly for entertainment purposes only. Corey, neither myself or Mr. Covington over there are professionals. Okay, what does that mean? You don't pay us for this. All right, you have not signed any paperwork. We are not paid professionals. This is our opinion. Okay, you cannot hold us liable for what we say on this podcast. You can, but it might not hold up in court. Okay, so the entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, fact check. Okay, if you don't agree with us, it's okay to find your own sources. But you know, this is our opinion. This is our podcast. This is what we do. All right.
All right. Yes,
you more or less that's a disclaimer. All right.
Yeah, you will hear us go to Google on here. You will hear these keyboards clicking away.
Listen, we'll fact check it real quick. Okay.
Right. All right. And then next up, error cleanup. Do you have any errors?
No, sir. Let's put it this way. I probably had some.
We do.
I didn't listen. I ain't about to hold you.
All right. For my error cleanup, I said that Derek Jeter wasn't a unanimous, and I said he wasn't a first ballot. He was first ballot. He wasn't unanimous. I think there's never been a unanimous Hall of Famer in baseball. He was first ballot. He just wasn't unanimous. I don't know what they're doing over there.
Baseball sounds real difficult to get some love, man. They just look. They don't. They say everybody can't like one person. Like that's what we on.
Yeah. No, my bad. Mariano Rivera. He's the only player to be unanimous.
Okay, so there is one.
Yeah, but that's recent though. You know, he just got in a couple years ago. So like most of our life growing up, he got in 2019. Yeah, Derek Jeter got 396 votes out of 397, and then King Griffey Jr. got 437 out of 440.
Pause. Did you say 396 out of 397?
Yeah, he fell one vote shy.
So one person was a hater.
Yeah, and then King Griffey Jr. is 3 votes shy.
Listen. Yeah, you're the one person that felt that, you know what I mean? That stopped that man. Look,
stop it. Get some help.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like, you know, I mean, these, you know, the Hall of Fame, you're the best players, but it's like nobody's unanimous. I mean, it's just anybody you could think of that isn't Mariano Rivera. They're not. Yeah. I mean, Nolan Ryan, Cal Ripken Jr., Hank Aaron, when he retired, was the only way you can guarantee a score in sports is a home run. Yeah. The all-time home run leader wasn't even first ballot. I mean, if you know your baseball player. I mean, Randy Johnson, the guy who killed a bird, Babe Ruth, even Babe fucking Ruth. Jesus Christ, I thought about that. Excuse my language. We 8 minutes in. Babe Ruth isn't even unanimous.
Look,
what did they want him to do? And he got in. He got in 1936. Is saying. So they've been tripping the whole time. They've been tripping.
They needed more home runs. Look at more. It wasn't enough. They need more.
That's crazy. I'm not even gonna look. Obviously, it's everybody but Mariano, so I'm not even gonna go through the list. But yeah. So that's that. And then that's it. So my error cleanup. Yeah, Derek was first ballot, but he was not unanimous.
Gotcha.
All right. And then for those of y'all who we're doing episode 50, no podcast file. We're getting back to the fitness and finance content for y'all.
Yeah, we're gonna throw a little bit more structure back on here. Even though I do like the podcast files. We'll be on there about it.
Switch the flow a little bit. First off, it's episode 50. So we got 49 in the tuck. 48 and 49 were about abortion, which is significantly impact your fitness and your finances.
Yeah. Your everyday life. All right. So
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was the emotional day.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, mental health check-in for episode 48 and 49. Are y'all okay out here?
Yeah.
Just had to make sure.
I feel like we should throw a number in there or something. The hotline.
For abortions or for mental health?
Mental health.
Let me see. I go.
I'm gonna let Corey a second to pull that up.
The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 800-273-8255. Okay.
All right.
To be clear, though, never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
We're gonna leave it at that. If you're not
I mean, if you're pro-choice, you're already terminating some form of life. Oh, Corey's a terrible person.
No.
Nah, that's a
Oh
Nah,
gosh.
that's the Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some. That's
Get
what.
some
Yeah.
help. Look at that.
That's what I need.
Oh man.
Oh my.
Stop it. Get some help.
All right, y'all. 10-minute introduction.
All
Now
right.
we're that's
We
it.
got-
Oh,
we
whoa.
gotta start. No.
Yep.
We gotta start. We gonna start with these current events.
Yep, that's what I was gonna
So
say.
for,
Guess what we got for y'all.
Hey,
Go ahead. Do the intro.
Look, hold on. So for those who don't know, we usually start off the podcast with, after we do all our formal introduction stuff, we start off the podcast with current events, okay? So we do have one for you guys today. But guess what? We finally followed up and said that intro we said we were gonna get for the current events, we finally got it. Stand by in 3, 2, leg it in.
Fuck your life, Beanbot. Who's the president? Byron. Who? Byron. Say what's up to Byron. What's up, Byron? What do you want to tell Joe Byron right now? What's up, baby? Take me out the dinner. Hey.
That is our current events intro, ladies and gentlemen. So you hear that, you're about to hear some current updated news. I felt like it was very fitting for what we talk about in our current events section, which is a little bit of everything, whatever's happening. All right.
It definitely be wild stuff because, as I say, it's a shit show out here on Earth. It's crazy. So I'm gonna try to give me 1 second. Share my screen.
All right.
Dang, did not do it. There we go. About to say. Boom. There we go. All right. So this current event. Let me know if you can hear it. Can you hear it?
It's God passed me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So this is from Dead with Durster, DERRSTER, from TikTok, and I'm just gonna let this ride. Have you seen this?
I saw this one. Yeah.
DoorDash had a glitch where everybody started ordering free shit, losing over $42 million in one night. As soon as that caught wind, people started making insane orders. Oh my God. And actually receiving it without paying a dime. As soon as that caught wind, at 8:45, everybody got on the train. This picture says it all. It's even in the back. Oh my God. There's hundreds of orders being put in. You want crab legs? You got it. People started getting creative and was like, damn, I don't have to just get food. My baby needs some Pampers. Boom, stacked up. They started picking up TVs, Plan Bs, even video games. Anything in Walmart, anything in Target became an option. Everybody was eating good that night. Oh my God.
And all y'all who did that DoorDash glitch, you're going to jail.
Going to jail. You're not going to go to jail.
I hope y'all account and strip y'all bank accounts.
They're stripping your bank account.
Yes, I know because I didn't know about it. Yes, I am. That's why the Lord gonna get y'all.
And it's funny that she said that because that next morning, people woke up to their cards still getting hit.
$17,000. This person is literally insane. I don't know if that's real or not. This person's insane. It's not that hard to spend that much money. It is probably on DoorDash though. They had to buy actual items like from Walmart and Target, like a TV, something like that.
Yeah.
You had to buy things that cost that amount of money. Yeah, that's it. But it's almost over, guys. Fair use.
$17,000. What did you get, bro? 50 bottles of Don Julio. This is what you get. 40 bottles of Casamigos, 70 bottles of Don Julio, all this fucking juice. This is what you get. I don't even feel bad for you, bro. Basically, how the glitch worked is like you make the order and then you remove your card. So DoorDash started making orders without authorizing the cards. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I wasn't stealing like you. Hope you guys.
Yeah, then DoorDash with the ultimate shade. Hope you guys enjoyed the free food. We'll be charging cars tomorrow. This happened like yesterday, the day before.
It did. It was literally. I thought it was yesterday, right?
But yeah, like last 24 hours.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead. You good?
Nah, I was just saying that this is so. I was gonna get there. First of all, this is insane, right? Why y'all out here? So DoorDash had a glitch, right? And that's y'all saw an opportunity this season to take advantage, right? But y'all gotta know, and this is where common sense plus my IT side kicks in, right? Y'all know for anything where you order anything, right? You have to have a card on file. Now he was saying the glitch worked that said you were able to remove the card. All right, so this is where my IT side kicks in, right? that card, it might be removed on your profile.
It's in the database.
Removed from the database. Right. So for all the head asses out there that thought you was getting away with something, all they did was, you know what I mean? I don't want to say all they did because, again, I don't work for DoorDash. You know what I mean? That's my disclaimer. But from my IT perspective, it did not erase in the back end. For people who don't know what the back end, that's the part that you can't see when you click stuff, right? So as you click things on a user interface, which is the part that you see on your application, things are then stored in a database. I'm about to get into deep, you know what I mean?
Nah, you guys don't have delete permissions for the database. You got update and insert. You do not have delete permissions on the website. They're not letting you delete stuff.
You are not an admin. You are a user.
Yeah,
okay.
They can't do that for legal purposes. Not to mention, if you've already used your card on there, they have it in their database permanently. Because they have to have it in there permanently because you made that transaction.
So for everybody who thought they weren't going to get caught, even if you try to get smart and you used, a card that was expired, or you used one of those, like a green dot card or something, they have a card from you at some point that is not related to the current card that's on there, and they can trace back, and they're going to charge you, whatever you spent that night. So, you know what I mean? For the 10 seconds that I would have been like, oh, this is cool. You know what I mean? As soon as the common sense kicks in, it's like, no, this is a terrible idea. You probably shouldn't have done it. And then going back to the person who $17,000.
Yeah, no.
17. What did you get?
They might go to jail.
You think so? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
That's cost for jail. Yeah. I think that's around that dollar amount.
That's crazy.
It's not stealing though. It's not stealing.
I mean, they charge them. I mean,
they charge them. But I'm saying if you steal $17,000 will put you in jail. Maybe not prison. That'll put you behind bars, though.
That's wild, though. It's like I didn't even know you could. You figured DoorDash would put some type of limit on how much you can spend in a night.
It was a glitch. It was a glitch.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I mean, I'm just talking about in general from an IT perspective. You know what I mean? Like in their app, you say, okay, if you've made this many frequent purchases at this time, maybe we just put a cap on how many purchases can be made. You know what I mean? Within the hour, or maybe a spending limit or something of that nature. Because nobody in their right mind has bought $17,000 worth of DoorDash from anywhere for anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like you feel like it would cap out at like 10K or something. You know what I mean?
The issue is normally your bank already has that in place. So, but the issue was the cars weren't getting charged.
Yeah, right.
So I guess they might have a fail. But also too, from a business standpoint, why would you want to limit how much income you can make? Let's put it like this: they getting that money. They said it was 42. They said it was like $42 million
in a night.
Well, that instance though, they probably make way more than that. And I mean, it's DoorDash across the whole country, probably the whole world. DoorDash might be global. I know Uber is, but I don't.
Yeah.
But put it like this. This is why first thing I recommend is build a team. That's why you need a financial person on your team. I wish you niggers would have came in a group chat with that. Your car's getting charged. I don't know what y'all think.
Without question.
Yeah, your car's getting charged.
You know how I know all our friends are smart? This didn't even come up in our group at all.
I didn't even know. Yeah.
I knew. I saw it. I was like, I rolled over and went back to sleep while it was happening. Because I'm not stupid. All right.
It's like the storm of the Capitol.
Oh gosh, thought your cards was getting charged.
Yeah,
it's like there you go. There it is.
It's the same thing as a storm of the Capitol. Why'd y'all post this? I wouldn't have posted it. You're gonna have to find me if they put because the people, how this normally works is the people who start there's a short window where those people don't get in trouble, right? But then you get caught in the exploitation part of it. But with this one, I'm gonna be very clear. Per the glitch, what he said, you telling me y'all removed your card? I'm surprised you're able to save from removing the card, but y'all removed your card and then made the purchase. That doesn't make sense. That's not the only thing, you know what I mean? Like, unless the UI was set up where it's glitching to where the card wasn't there, but the submit button was still there. Mm-hmm. That's the only way that even makes sense. DoorDash seems like an app to where you can't go throughout the site without having a card on file because
But the only thing I would think, right? So when you get to the part where you're finalizing payment, you can they always have the last add a payment, add a payment method, and then in there, I'm thinking maybe there's
you can remove it.
You can remove,
and then you can still continue on.
Exactly.
That's a big glitch. That person lost losing their job.
Oh yeah. Somebody they're looking for a front end developer right now. They're looking for a UI. UI UX person right now.
Nah, really the back end too, though. Now let's not change. We said we're gonna stay on finance and fitness topic.
Right.
But it's one of those things.
Showing.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's a weird glitch because it's straightforward code. I mean, if this is not here, then you disable the. You know what I mean? It's basic front end stuff. It's entry level. It's entry level code. So as far as that interface, interesting. It's you know what I mean. Like I want to, it's only $42 million, which isn't that much money on the grand scheme of things for them. Probably, if it was a couple $100 million, it'd be different. But it's gonna be interesting. Some more for like what happened? Because put it like this: Amazon Prime Day coming up. And put it like this.
Now, now Amazon had one of these glitches.
You guys are going to prison. I think Jeff's on the Pentagon board. Y'all going to Guantanamo.
Listen.
Y'all getting shipped out the wrong way, not the military way. The wrong way. You're getting shipped out the wrong way.
They pulling up like FBI, open up! Straight like that.
That's who will be there. We don't recommend or advise you guys to commit crimes on here. If you do, we recommend you have to deal with going to jail. Recommend you have to deal with going to jail. Not commit crime.
I just thought, okay, so maybe you can help me out. I don't understand the need to post the crime that you're committing. Y'all got to be the dumbest criminals I've ever seen in 2022. Y'all the only people that's going to steal from an organization. Phone record it on the, you know what I mean, screen record it or whatever, you know what I mean, throughout your process, and then post it, and they say, ha, you know what I mean, this is what's happening now, guys, go ahead, you know what I mean, and send an influx of people towards that application. You know, the point of doing a crime is getting away, you know what I mean, you're supposed to be able to do it, you know what I mean, again, I'm not coaching.
People don't commit crimes to get caught.
Yeah, there we go. That's exactly what I'm pointing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It don't count if in the end it's, you know what I mean, you end up going to jail. Like,
let's be clear. One, I can't help you out with this. So you try to set me up because Corey doesn't commit crimes.
Exactly. Look.
Two, you said I know you can help me out with this. No, I cannot help you out. I do not understand what they're doing, nor have I partaken in it. You know what it is. FOMO. People just want the social media clout, and this is why I want people to go to jail, and this is why I'm anti-reduced sentencing. Go to jail.
Yep.
I don't know if you know who Charleston White is.
I do not.
Okay, it's a guy on YouTube. It's a YouTube guy. But anyways, he was he had an interview, and they say, you sound like a police person. He's like, I'm a police ass nigga or something like that. He like, he's like, if you go, he's like, I don't. He's been to prison before, but he's older, so he's out, perform things like that. But he's like, right. I don't commit crimes. You crime committing people need to go to jail. He's like that. He's like, yeah, y'all. He's like, I'm not tough. He like, nah, if you the big and bad guy, you go to jail too. And I'm the type of person, that's why people be like, I'm not in charge. I don't believe in reduced sentencing.
You do the crime, go to jail, pay the sentence.
I know they use it to they can get more information, right? But the police need to do their job better. I know that's the whole thing. But I'm like, nah, this thing comes with 10 years.
Yeah. See you in 10.
10 years.
Click. Wait, get your gavel.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying?
That early parole stuff like that. Now, obviously, longer sentences is different. But if this is a 5-year crime, you're going for 5 years. 25 years, we have a different conversation. But
right.
It's hard. So you have no early parole, no changing, none of that. You got to do the whole time, because that's one of the issues. People know they can commit crimes and snitch and get reduced time, if not get no time at all, depending on the gravity. You can do a whole bunch of bad stuff and serve a little bit of time, depending on how much right? If you got bigger fish, if you're Andre and Ghost and Tommy, Dre, you can kill everybody, do all that, you can do everything. But if you got Ghost and Tommy paperwork, and the Serbians and all that type of stuff, if you got the RICO case locked and sealed, even if you're a part of the RICO case, if you can get the two big fish, they let you go. They probably won't, but y'all seen Power. If you have not seen Power, spoiler freaking alert. But,
right. I was gonna say, since we already ruined it, as y'all saw, it did not work out well for him. So you know what I'm saying?
Dre is no longer. He has to get a new form of employment.
Yeah. Oh man!
Oh my goodness! All right, though. Do you have anything else on that?
No, sir.
Again, y'all, please don't do dumb stuff.
Stop.
And by the way, you know what? Nah, they can go to jail because that's fraud.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys should go to jail.
Yeah.
You guys should go to jail. And the larger the dollar, it's one of those things too, where if you try to rob a bank, you get no money. Taking the money is just like an add-on. Like the big stipulation is the fact you wouldn't try to rob it.
You are armed.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. But it's one of those things like if you're gonna do this, I hope y'all got some stuff.
Right.
It's the same thing with the PPP loan. If y'all gonna do federal fraud, get more than 10K.
They got like 10 years, right?
Yeah,
I know it was varying.
Yeah, they didn't double digits. But I'm saying like it is the dollar amount isn't the issue. The issue is
the crime.
You defrauded the federal government.
Yeah.
You're going to prison and you're getting a strike. Like you're a bad person. All right. Oh my goodness. All right. That's it. Locked and loaded.
Let's go.
On to the wait. I know. I forgot. We using this system. I got it. You good. I was like, where's the question at? I go. We're good. On to the
fitness section.
Let's go.
The domain of our gods. Do it,
Hey, I'm finally getting caught up on my Marvel. Now I got, I'm paying for the Wi-Fi. Disney Plus came free, so I'm getting caught up on the Marvel stuff. And up next,
you watching the series?
Right now I'm watching because I haven't seen Doctor Strange yet. So and they were like, you have to. There's some stuff you have to watch before you go see it. So I finished watching WandaVision and the What If episode for his What If episode, and I'm finishing up Falcon the Winter Soldier, and then I watched Doctor Strange.
You got before that one too. You got Loki.
My bad. I've already watched all Loki too. My bad.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's a lot of big stuff happening. Loki. Okay.
Yeah. Feel like this. That's why I can't remember because I didn't watch a whole bunch of stuff. My friends like, dang, you going through it. I'm like, yeah, not the bad way, but like, you getting through the content. I'm like, yeah.
Right.
You just y'all know how it is. You put it on and then just keep going.
I'm trying to think what else is. Moon Knight. You gotta check out Moon Knight too. That's not relevant.
It's not relevant. Yeah. They're definitely saying Loki. Obviously, WandaVision. I was like, probably definitely gonna watch that because I was tired of my friends always telling me what the hell was going on in the movies. I was probably tired of it too.
Yeah.
But
hands down, WandaVision. You have to because if not, you just be like, what? I actually did it in the inverse, and that's how I know. So like,
I feel like this. Yeah. I can imagine. I've seen some of the previews, and I'm like, okay,
yeah.
I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if you need to see it.
I was just like, when did this happen? You know what I mean? You just So I was like, did you watch WandaVision? I was like, nah. They was like, that's why you have no idea what's happening. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, and we know enough about the stuff to where like so you can fill stuff in. Just like, okay, we know like who these people are and things like that. Like out, enough comic book stuff where they get it from. But yeah. But all right, first fitness question.
Oh, that's good.
Fit or fib? Okay. I'm supposed to read that part?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Fit or fib? Spot reduction can be used to reduce fat in specific parts of the body. Now, I'm gonna need you to define spot reduction because I don't know what that is. I always give you the breakdown. But this is the first time though I read the question was like, the first two words I don't know.
So always give you the definition and then give you the bluff, and then we go from there, right? So okay, so again, this is actually a question that I got from one of our listeners and our viewers. It wasn't particularly phrased like this. It was about spot reduction, but then I kind of adjusted it accordingly for our format, right? But spot reduction can be used to reduce fat in specific parts of the body. So fit or fib, basically how this works is I go through and tell you whether it's actual, if it is actual fitness advice or if it is a fib, a lie, it is false information, all right? Because there's a lot of false information as it pertains to fitness out here, okay? So I'm going to try to support it the best I can with my certification knowledge as well as fitness knowledge that I found online. So what is spot reduction? Spot reduction is the process of participating in a process with the intent of losing fat in a specific region of the body, right? So particularly, everybody wants to apply spot reduction, but particularly you get it a lot of times for women, or they're just like, oh, I don't like the way my arms look. Is there a way I can lose weight specifically in my arms or like my, my thighs, my hips, my butt, you know what I mean? That type of stuff, right? I don't really know too many guys that are like, oh yeah, I need to lose weight, you know what I mean? in my thighs, you know what I mean? We guys tend to specifically, want to gain mass, right? We're usually looking to get bigger, to get stockier. So spot reduction really isn't a thing for us, but more so for the ladies, right? Yeah, when you get to again, it's easier to start with the bottom line up front. Bottom line up front, spot reduction is not a thing, y'all. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. I just gotta get it out there. It's not a thing. It'll make the supporting facts easier if we start with the bottom line up front. Spot reduction is not a thing. Okay, you can exercise, but you cannot exercise and target a specific area for weight loss. Okay, that is not how the science works. That's not how the math works. That's not how your body works. Okay, spot reduction is a nice to have, and believe it or not, there's actually a market for spot reduction. So people go around selling that these processes, work to cause weight loss in specific areas of the body. Spot reduction is commercialized sometimes in the form of, so you've seen forms of spot reduction, you just didn't know that they were that, right? So they've been commercialized in the form of tummy teas, belly blaster type workouts, waist trainers, etc. Right? All of these are products that are sold or pitched in the purpose of accelerating a process to help you lose weight in a specific part of your body, right? So for the tummy teas, clearly that's all, you know what I mean? If you take this tea for a certain amount of days, you'll lose weight, particularly in your core obliques, you know what I mean? Your core area, right? Not how that works. Belly blaster workouts, right? You do these core exercises. Now, belly blaster workouts is one of the ones where I'll say, will help you gain muscle in that area, but not necessarily lose fat in that area. So the misconception is, oh, it's going to make me skinny. Wrong. It's going to make your core strong. And in making your core strong, you will now gain muscle in that area. And in the process of gaining muscle, you will then lose fat. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a spot reduction technique for that area. You also have to do other things to continue to allow your body to lose fat, which will allow you to slim out. You know what I'm saying? So of the commercialized spot reduction techniques, belly blaster workouts are probably one of the ones where it's like there is some science in there, but it's not going to do exactly what you think it's going to do. Waist trainers are complete fraud. Complete fraud.
I was going to bring that up. I was going to bring up the waist trainer. I said, what about, is the waist trainer getting debunked?
Listen, we're going to tackle that right now. Waist trainers are complete crap. They're ass. Stop buying them. Okay, they are garbage, basura. All right, that's Spanish for trash. Stop using them. Okay.
I was gonna say is what about like plastic, like saran wrap on your stomach?
No. So let me tell y'all what y'all doing. Okay, it's like literally we gotta look.
Stop it. Get some help.
No. All right. Don't do that.
So you can't put the plastic saran wrap on your stomach to make your stomach go down.
No, because all you're doing, so literally when you're putting these things, so any type of material around your stomach, all you're doing is clogging up your pores, right? And increasing the heat in those areas. And what you think you're doing is causing sweat specifically on your stomach. All it's doing is accelerating the temperature in specific parts of your body, but that doesn't mean you're losing weight in those areas. Does that make sense? So you're increasing your temperature, and yes, that might increase the amount that you sweat. But again, what that does is that increases your weight loss overall. It's not necessarily just in your stomach. Now, waist trainers in specific are also, in addition, squeezing the crap out of your insides. Right. Yeah, while you are exercising, which is, so while you might get a certain shape, you are not necessarily losing weight. You are just literally redefining the structure of your core section. You know what I mean? By wearing a waist trainer, you're just squeezing those organs around and literally over time just moving where they become where they've redefined their at-rest zone. So where they've redefined their home, you know what I mean, in their structure, right? That's not healthy. You should not be using any type of foreign device to move around your insides, guys, unless told to do so by a doctor, from a medical procedure, right? This is not something you should do at home. It's not something you should do, period. But you definitely should be doing it at home by yourself using a waist trainer. All right. And
I was going to say too, so how does that then relate to like when you actually have like back support things, like actual like physical equipment to like help support you? People do like extremely heavy like squat lifting or deadlifting and they have like support things on them?
Yeah.
So
So
how do those work then?
So the difference is perfect example, like a squat belt, right? The squat belt is done to allow you to do what is the name of the breathing technique? There is a breathing technique. So when you squat, right, you're supposed to inflate your abdomen before you. So you inflate your abdomen and reinforce your core muscles before you go down to perform a full body weight squat and then come back up while the weight is, while you have your weight on you, right? The purpose of that is to allow you to center yourself and basically maintain balance and structure and form while you de-escalate and elevate, right? The only purpose that the belt serves while performing that technique, because you can do that without the belt, right? The only purpose that the belt serves while performing that technique is to give you some stability and actually support your core muscles as they cave out while you inflate your stomach to perform this movement, right? So ultimately, if you have a strong enough core, which is why we do core, every FinallyFit workout, I also say core is one of those few muscles groups that you can actually work daily and they'll be fine. So if you have a strong enough core, you actually don't need a squat belt while performing heavy lifts while doing full body weight squats.
Right.
It's when people start doing insane, usually insane amounts of weight. We talk about, 500-600 pounds, you know what I mean? That people opt for the belt, right? But if you, 225, 315, you'll be fine. Inflate your stomach, basically more or less, take a deep breath, hold, go down, come back up, let the breath out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's to help you define a support structure while performing the exercise, but it's not meant to, again, not going to make you skinnier, not going to make you, it's not supposed to rearrange your insides, but literally for support. Bringing it back full circle to that bottom line up front for spot reduction. Spot reduction is a falsality. You should not be. Falsality is a word, correct? If not, I'll clean it up in the next area section. But spot reduction, Corey gonna type it up right now. Spot reduction is a falsality and should not be used as a performance technique for weight loss. Performing high intensity workouts, particularly if 70% of your Vo2 Max or higher, and increased blood flow and fat oxidation. This increases the likelihood of burning fat in all areas, including the hard to reach spaces. All right. So that's the bottom line up front. So we're going to circle back to, again, I already gave you the definition of spot reduction. It's the process of participating in a process with the intent of losing fat in a specific region of the body. I've told you that some forms of spot reduction come in commercialized formats, including tummy teas, belly blaster workouts, and waist trainers. Now, getting into the science. Science has proven that while some of these products can aid in weight loss, they don't necessarily contribute to fat loss, all right? And then we're going to get into the details of what's the difference, Jordan? Well, I'm about to tell you. Weight is the mass or quantity of heaviness expressed in pounds or kilograms, okay? So I'm going to repeat that one more time. Weight is the mass or quantity of heaviness expressed in pounds or kilograms, okay? And notice we said your people are trying to target fat loss, and science has proven that some of those techniques include or assist with weight loss. Weight and fat loss are not the same thing. All right. Weight.
Hold on. Tell them again, just so you Negroes know.
Just so y'all are tracking. All right. Hold on.
I'm speaking to you Negroes because y'all are one of the worst weight issues. Okay. Don't get upset. Don't make me pull up the
one more time. Look,
I can share the screen now.
I've already said this before.
Look. All right. But just so y'all are tracking, weight loss and fat loss are not the same thing. Okay? Weight is the measure of the mass or quantity of heaviness expressed in pounds or kilograms. In terms of bodily components, this is a total. Fat is a small section of weight loss. Fat can be, in terms of bodily components, fat can be considered a small section of that. It means it's possible to lose weight and then not all be fat. Okay? So there are multiple components that go into your body weight, including muscle, including water weight. You know what I mean? There's all saying that to say you get on the scale and those numbers change, you losing pounds doesn't necessarily conclude to you losing pounds of fat, just so you're tracking. All right. So, and the reason that the reason that fat sticks around, particularly in hard to reach areas. So for people who don't know, your hard to reach areas depend on your gender and depend on your body type. Okay. For males, usually your hard to reach areas are your thighs, front portion of your belly, and actually our glutes. I know that sounds funny, but it's lower body. For the women, it's actually breast area, obliques, stomach, as well as thighs. Okay, and butt. I'm sorry, butt is on there as well. So the women have everything that the guys have, plus breast in obliques. Okay.
Yeah, so them
the
love handles.
Yes.
That's that. If y'all don't know what the obliques is, just them love handles.
On the sides, right? You know what I'm saying? You got to work that. So for people who want abs, people are on their ab mission for their fitness journey. People don't realize that your obliques, your core, your abdominals are literally just the absence of fat. That's why they are one of the most hard fitness goals to achieve, because you literally are just exposing the muscle, right? Abs exist. Everybody has abs. Let's be very clear. Core, large people have core. Obese people have core muscles. Skinny people have core muscles. You know what I mean? Everybody in between has core muscles, right? Showing those abs is just the absence of fat over top of those muscles. All right. So don't get down on yourself talking about, I don't have core muscles. You do have core muscles. You just have so many layers of fat over it that you can't see them. Okay. So that is why they are particularly one of the hardest fitness goals to achieve. Now, circling back, talking about fat receptors and why fat on those hard to reach places stick around a little bit longer. So we're going to get a little bit more into the science of how that works. Okay. So fat receptors for those hard to reach areas are broken down into multiple types of receptors, but the ones that we're going to talk about in terms of fat loss are alpha 2 and beta 2 receptors. So what does that mean, Jordan? I'm about to tell you guys. Alpha 2 receptors are considered stubborn fat, and they actually resist diet and exercise. Okay, repeat that one more time. Alpha 2 receptors are stubborn fat and resist diet and exercise. So, Corey, based off of that definition, can you tell me where your alpha 2 receptors are located, just specifically for you?
The
for men.
Yeah, the thighs, the glutes. I remember everything you said, but because you only said this, I said that one time. But the thighs, the glutes, and you said the top part of your abdomen or lower chest.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So again, men got those, those places where, fellas, let's face it, we like to drink, right? When you drink a beer, where does that weight go? It goes to your stomach. It goes to right under the front part of the abdominal, the top part of your thighs. You know what I mean? That's where our weight tends to stick to initially. You know what I mean? We start gaining fat. It's not evenly distributed amongst your body. Okay, so our alpha 2 receptors are on those areas. What does that mean? When we get to the point where we do decide we want to lose weight, that is usually the last fat to go.
Okay.
All right. So for our ladies out there, again, circling back around to those hard to reach areas for you, that includes everything that the men have. So the thighs, the butt, so glutes, butt. People don't know those are interchangeable. The gluteus maximus is your butt. I was going to make the assumption that y'all knew that, but I don't want to leave that out. All right. So butt and glutes are interchangeable in this case. The thighs, the front part of your abdomen, as well as the breasts. The breasts are actually your mammary glands, but it's actually your mammary glands for women, mammary glands is surrounded by fatty tissue. So that is why particularly women can gain fat in their breasts. Okay. But your alpha 2 receptors are there. Beta 2 receptors are called visceral fat, and they release into a oxygenated state much faster. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to back up a little bit. I know I kind of went into the fat receptors, but what people don't know, when you actually get into the process where you start your fitness journey and you start working out or creating caloric deficit to lose weight, fat just doesn't disappear. There's actually a scientific process for how it exits your body, right? So you create your caloric deficit. You create your caloric deficit by either eating less or working out more, or a combination of both. In doing so, you then are able to target fat loss in your throughout your daily routine. And how that fat actually leaves the body is when you start working out, your body heats up. It starts a scientific process that causes you to sweat. Fat actually comes out either in the form of sweat or urine. So what happens is that sweat actually has to turn into an oxygenated process. Has to go through a process to become oxygenated. So basically it turns into gas vapor. So it's gas and water. It's a mixture, fluid, right? Because if you're sweating it out, you know what I mean? Sweat is I was going to get into the scientific name, but it's basically salt water. Okay. And so it turns into a liquid to come out that way. And versus pee, it again turns into a liquid to come out that way. And then it also turns into a small part of gas as you sweat. That's where the heat comes from. So yeah, fat goes through a process to become more oxygenated, and then through that process, it either turns into one of those three forms that was previously mentioned to leave your body. All right. For the various types of fat, for your alpha-2 receptors, in order to make that process that I just explained happen, you have to provide your body with a significant amount or significantly higher amount of oxygen than you do for your beta-2 receptors. So for those who are not participating in as cardio-intensive exercise, that is why those alpha-2 receptors are not being activated. You are not losing fat in the areas that you desire to lose fat from. What does this mean? You are not working out hard enough to cause your body to turn or create the scientific process to oxygenate fat in your alpha-2 receptors, aka that stubborn fat, aka the areas that you are all trying to target. What does this mean, Jordan? You aren't moving enough. How often are we supposed to work out, Corey?
45 minutes, 5 days.
You said how long?
45.
Nah, it's actually, 45 is
What
great.
I say 45? My hour, 30 each.
Yeah.
My bad, man. 30 each, 5 days a week. My bad.
Nah, you're good. Yeah, it's 30.
We do 45 minutes of the hit, the exercise.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. So very clear. So the reason why my man said 45, we do 45. All right. We are going above the minimum of what is required. The minimum is 30 minutes of aerobic exercise for at least 5 days a week. You know what I mean? So that's 150 minutes every 7 days, y'all. If you're not doing that, you're probably not losing any fat at all. You know what I mean? Whether it's alpha, beta, it doesn't matter. You're probably not losing any fat in terms of your fitness journey. But that is the minimum requirement to create a decent caloric deficit to hit your goals. Now, for those who are trying to target their stubborn fat or their A2 receptors, you need to perform or participate in high intensity workouts with a Vo2 Max of 70% or higher. What's your Vo2 Max, Jordan? I got you. Look, that's why I'm here.
You getting in the bag.
We bringing them out today. All right. Trying to make sure I give y'all the major keys right here. Look, I don't got Khaled on the soundboard, but I should. Never mind. I don't want him to sue us. Anyways, look at that. Giving y'all the major keys right here. All right. So Vo2 Max is your basic volume of oxygen, right? Hence VO2, VO2, for people don't know, O2, oxygen, right? So, anyways, look at that.
Look, if y'all didn't, how did y'all graduate high school? Okay, some of y'all, I be seeing y'all post stuff. Y'all don't know enough science for me. That's why I be chilling because I'm like, this is how people die. They mess with chemicals. You're gonna get up out of here. Like as Lil Wayne said, bullies aren't bulletproof. This is a real life. This is not a game. There's no your health points don't come back. Okay.
If you really want to take this, go down the rabbit hole and go into your fitness journey and know a little bit more than average, you should review your chemistry. Okay, you need to know components and what makes those, what makes what, right? So go ahead and that periodic table. It would not hurt to review that. All right, but bringing it back around to fat loss and how that works, right? So for those who are trying to target those stubborn areas, again, your alpha-2 receptors, you need to hit a high-intensity workout of 70% or higher. So that's why, again, when Cory said 45 minutes of high-intensity workout, that's what he was talking about because we specifically target, we target everything, all right? I'm not here to get you your minimum. I'm here to get you, I know what the minimum is, but we program for beyond that. So for those who don't know, FinallyFit, I am a certified personal trainer. We work out a minimum at least twice a week with us, but we also, if you would like to take it to the next level, you can also work out. I give you workouts in between your Monday and Wednesday, so you can, excel and push yourself and hit your fitness goals. So Cory has been participating in that in the extended workout where he's working out at least 5 days a week. You know what I mean?
That's an hour. I don't know a little bit like this. Look, you overweight and obese people not doing it at all.
Listen,
some of you are doing it because you're trying to get down, but most of you are not.
You're
Shout out
not.
to my heart disease numbers.
Look, not putting in the work. And the thing is, 30 minutes is not a lot. You can go on a walk and hit that with ease. You know what I mean? I walked before we did this podcast. I knocked out 2.15 miles and it took me 36 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So that's about 18 minute per mile pace. You know what I'm saying? That's not super fast. That's not super slow. But saying all that to say, 2 miles and I knocked out my 30 minutes for the day, before coming in here and talk to y'all. So saying all that to say, it can be done. So make it happen. but bringing it back to that Vo2 Max. So that is the measure of your oxygen over the course of your workout. You need to hit 70%. For those who have an Apple Watch or some type of monitoring device, your Apple Watch, I believe it is a Series 2 or higher. Let's face it, that's pretty much everybody's Apple Watch because I don't know nobody who got the original anymore. It measures your Vo2 Max for you during exercise. So you can actually go back, look at the data, and it will tell you what your Vo2 Max is. There is a formula. Do I have the formula in here? I do not, but there is a formula where you can actually, I believe, take your I want to say you can take your heart rate and measure your Vo2 max based off of your resting heart rate post-exercise. But that being the case, you want to make sure that it is at least 70% or higher. What does that do? It increases blood flow and fat oxidation during and post-workout, all right? So what you don't realize is you're actually burning fat not only during the workout, but immediately following the workout too. Just because you stop actually performing the exercise doesn't mean that your body immediately goes back to a resting state. There's what we call a cool down period. So during that cool down period, the anabolic window actually happens. So shout out to one of these previous episodes where I talked about the anabolic window, where your body is actually super receptive to nutrients in that state. But before you hit that's 20 minutes post-workout. But before you hit your anabolic window, your body's actually in a cool down state where it's still burning calories and because your heart rate is still accelerated, right? So during that time, that is when your alpha-2 receptors are targeted if you are recovering from a HIIT workout, okay? So bringing it full circle, what is spot reduction and can it be used to reduce specific parts of the body? Spot reduction is the process of participating in a process. I'm sorry, I said process twice. Anyways, spot reduction is the process of participating in a process with the intent of losing fat in a specific region of the body. It is a false theory when it comes to fitness. There's nothing that actually allows you to target specific fat loss in an area of the body. Stop trying to take shortcuts, guys. That's the bottom line up front. You got to do weight loss. And overall, why would you want to lose weight in just a specific part of your body if you need to lose weight everywhere? Let's be honest. I mean, the numbers don't lie. 75% of y'all are obese, okay? Or, or have some form of, obesity leads to heart conditions, okay? You need to lose the fat, period. Okay, it's not just about losing the fat in your arms. It's not about losing the fat in your abdominal section. It's not about losing the fat in your thighs. You have to get to a point where you're healthy first. Then, after you've hit your a healthy state, you've gotten to a point where you create sustainable, healthy lifestyle habits. Then you can get to the part where it's like, okay, I have more weight in my obliques than I would like. How do I then go about creating a healthy lifestyle routine to target that? That is when you go into adjusting your routine to then create additional fat loss in your workout or your caloric deficit, to assist with that. But you don't target that area specifically. You don't start wearing a waist trainer and say, all right, I'm going to get my obliques. Now you step up your caloric deficit. You step up your workout game, okay? And actually what most people don't realize is instead of hyper-focusing on the fat loss, if you actually hyper-focus on gaining muscle, your body will, so your body has a composition. Your body, it's almost like a pie chart. Just think of your body as it's 100% total, right? Your body is 100%. Your body can only compose of so much muscle to fat, right? The more muscle you have, the less fat you can have. So the more your pie chart, shifts to become more muscle, the less fat it has by, just by the fact that your body can only hold 100%. So if you're 60% muscle, you can only by definition be, 40% fat. And that's again, and those aren't the only things in your body, but that's just how that would work, right? You got your blood, there's clearly other, organs and things of that nature in your body. But I'm just saying it's only 100%, guys. More muscle, less fat. That's how that works. So if you target muscle gain, you will by definition have to make room for the muscle. You got to lose fat. You'll lose fat, okay? So instead of targeting those obliques, work on that core, participate in cardio, step up your exercise game to gain muscle, but you will lose the fat, all right? It's a mindset shift, and I think that's the part where people get confused or they get lost. Don't freak out. Don't target the fat loss. Target the muscle gain. Your body will do what it needs to do to lose the fat, all right? I think that's it.
Okay. Go ahead. I see. This is why I knew I could get the soundboard. Round of applause. Round of applause.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
we definitely gonna.
I
was gonna say we definitely gonna hook you up. We're gonna get you the stream deck on that side ASAP.
Yeah, that's on the list of things to purchase. It was a very long list. But you see in the private chat, I don't know if that's a formula. I put it in there, 15.3, and it's like max heart rate divided by resting heart rate.
Correct. Thank you.
Right.
So what Cory is talking about, that is the formula for Vo2 Max. So remember, we're talking about volume by oxygen. That is the measure of how much oxygen your body takes in during the workout. The formula for that is 15.3 times your max heart rate over your resting heart rate. Okay. So again, if you're using a fitness device, a lot of these numbers will already fill in for you. Your I know for a fact your Apple Watch measures your max heart rate during a workout as well as your resting heart rate during a cool down, so you can actually scroll literally to previous workouts. You don't need, it'll show you those numbers while you're participating, but you can even view it afterwards if your heart rate chart was working during the exercise, right? So if you have that section where it says chart unavailable, you won't have those numbers, but for those who are, if the watch is working properly while you're doing the exercise, you will have those numbers, okay? So normally for me, my resting heart rate is usually in the low 60s. I would even say, and I mean, it actually really depends on what I'm doing. Sometimes it's in mid 50s, but it's usually in the low 60s to mid 50s. And then my max heart rate when we're doing HIIT sometimes is 177, usually about 180. All right. So my Vo2 Max based on those numbers, let me see. I don't want to lie to y'all, so I'll make sure I do it right.
Say I'm not taking the 15.3 shot. I'm not. That's out of my pay grade. I usually do 15, obviously, but still, 15 is a janky number.
Times 15.3. Gotcha. So yeah, that's about right. So my Vo2 Max is about 45.13 based off of the numbers that I just gave you guys. All right. So that is pretty great. And there is a scale, I believe, for measure of, what's good, what's not, and for Vo2 Max based on age and gender as well. Okay. But again, 70% or higher to target those alpha-2 receptors for those hard to reach areas. So ladies, if you want to get them obliques, you want to get that Coke bottle shape, all right, you hit, okay? Vo2 Max, 70% or higher, target those alpha-2 receptors, lose the weight, all right? You don't need the tummy tea. For people who don't know, tummy tea is basically just a diuretic. It is basically just a cleanse, okay? It's just making you poop. They're pushing everything that comes into your body. They're pushing it out, okay? So again, you're losing weight, but you're not necessarily losing fat, all right? So that's how they get you. They make you push things out. You're like, oh yeah, I'm cleansing my body. You actually don't need to perform a cleanse. I wouldn't recommend doing a cleanse more than once. And it also depends on the form of how you take a cleanse. Maybe I'll cover this topic on another episode. But I would recommend doing a cleanse more than once a month. And again, that depends on your form of cleanse. My form of cleanse is autophagy. We talked about this before, where I'll just do extreme intermittent fasting, right? And by definition, by not taking in anything, your body is allowed to give in time. In water, it's allowed to push everything out, right? But I don't take a directive to push things out. I just stop taking things in for a while and let my body naturally cleanse itself. All right? You're on mute, bro.
Yeah, and I clicked it off and I clicked it back. Episode 48.
Got you.
Autophagy. And then you said falsity. You're saying falsity. It's falsity. You're just pronouncing it wrong. Yeah.
Got you.
That's
At least it is a word. Thank God.
Yeah, that's the word. Yeah. Question. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah. The issue is y'all need to stop getting the surgeries. BBL is opposite of spot reduction because you put more stuff there. But that's the issue. Men, what do men do? You really do the fake hairline spray on thing. Men don't really get that much surgery to augment their body. Because if we did it, it'd all be height surgery.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not really a thing. So,
which is the thing now. It's just a thing.
I'm talking about. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's prominent.
Yeah,
it's
prominent. I got you. Yeah,
it's not the BBL. It's not the BBL. It's not the BBL.
It's not. It is not.
Oh my goodness! Nah, men just will take steroids. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
yes.
it. That's it. All right. Do you have anything else?
No, sir. I think we're good.
All right. Locked and loaded.
Let's get it. On to the
finance section.
Let's go. So I was going to say, Where we at, bro? Was it the bottom one?
No, you got to do your private check question first.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a good question. You know why? Because I asked it. Anyways, first finance question. At what point do you readjust your 3 to 6 month emergency fund for inflation?
For inflation. If you've been under, you might be under a rock because inflation that damn high. You might not be able to afford to live in a
It's everywhere. Every time we listen, in between each podcast episode, something I've paid has increased. You know what I mean? On the monthly, you know what I mean? It's out here. It's out here, man. My subscriptions, my I'm like about to start naming off all the stuff I do, but all my little subscriptions, man, have gone up. Even some of the staples in my household. One of the things that increased, I was just complaining about before this podcast, increased. I can't not have it. I need it. You know what I mean? For people who don't know, you know, we dabble in IT, and you can't perform IT without internet. I need Wi-Fi. That is a must for me to participate. For me to participate in my job, I have to have Wi-Fi, and you know, my Wi-Fi just went up $7 this month. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's so you might have been under a rock due to the significantly high inflation prices, particularly with rent. But so when do you? This is a quick one because we do have another question after this. When do you adjust for your emergency fund for inflation? Always remember, how do you prepare for inflation? You do it for inflation. Remember, you don't prepare for the problem, right? I prefer prevention over treatment. So. One, no one could predict the highest numbers of inflation ever that we're going through right now. Also, two, inflation obviously is every year, right? I mean, inflation happens every year. It's how high inflation, right, goes up each year. So let's be clear on that. But not when we're dealing in a situation like now where it's the highest ever. But when we get in those, inflation is roughly anywhere 2 to 4%, depending on the numbers. But as you get to around that 6 and 7% range and up, you know, honestly, just look at your budget and you adjust accordingly. Now, it all depends on what goes up in your budget. Stuff like gas fluctuate. Well, we haven't lived long enough, but gas does go up. But during our lifetime, gas has been anywhere from $2 to $4. Now it's, you know, Maryland numbers for those, you know, around the country, but it's been anywhere from $2 to $5 now it's near $5. It's anywhere from $2 to $5. But during when we graduated, so this 2010, 2011, was always paying over $3. Always paying over $3. Then that's during coming out of Bush into Obama. End of Obama's term, his second term, and going into Trump, it was more in that $2-3 range. So, and like going down, it's like $2. We consistently paid $2 here before the pandemic, consistently for years. So, you know, gas obviously goes up because, you know, when you listen to your parents or your grandparents talk about, you know, a quarter, 50 cents to get you fill up the whole tractor. Okay. And so the price goes up. But something like gas moves, right? Like it can move back down. Right. But something like groceries go up. They don't go back down.
Yeah, they do.
They don't. It's up and it's stuck. Groceries continue to go up. Yesterday's price is not today's price, and groceries continue to go up. Something like groceries, though, I would say that's something where you would make more of an adjustment in your monthly budget, which is what I've done, more so than your emergency fund. So I would just increase how much you're paying in your groceries monthly. Because like this, it don't matter what your emergency fund is. The groceries don't get paid for. It don't matter. It don't matter how much the stuff is going up. But again, too, I would truly just adjust off of your necessities for inflation, not the rest of the stuff in your budget. How, you know, Netflix and all that stuff is going up, because then right. You know, you live in really that FOMO type of lifestyle, keeping up with the Joneses. But you know, your rent does go up. But if you have a mortgage, right, your mortgage doesn't go up, which is going to be the biggest determinant of what your emergency fund is going to be, because it's the largest payment. If you're paying for medical, dental, vision, or your insurances via your job, that doesn't change, right? You're not paying for those. Car insurance moves, right? That moves. But obviously, for those of you, I've already said this before, but if you pay off your car, you have the ability to essentially make.
I've already said this before.
When you pay off your car, you're able to essentially change your insurance whatever you want. So when you increase your deductibles, mainly the collision one, but when you increase your collision and comprehensive deductible to from $500 to $2,500, you can drop your insurance premium significantly. Then you can also make use of, you know, paying the premium, you know, for the full 6 months versus monthly. There's a whole bunch of different ways to adjust your insurance premium for your car insurance. Okay, clothing. That's the biggest one with kids. But real in all honesty, if you got kids, the clothing budget is a question mark. I've already said this before. So it don't really matter. The fact that you're even attempting to grab a hold of it, I don't recommend, because it's gonna keep going up until they graduate. They turn 18. Yeah. That's how long humans grow, and they grow past that. So until your child turns 18, it's gonna continue to grow. So, hey, what's up, Pharaoh? Speaking of children,
look.
So I wouldn't. He sneezed. Bless you. Did he sneeze? Did he sneeze?
No, he barked.
But I would say you really don't need to adjust it like now, right? Inflation is going crazy right now. So like in 1 year, do you adjust it? No, but I would say, and I might have talked about this, not said this before, but talked about this before, where you can make use, not recommended, it's not investment advice, but some people are of the mindset where you invest your emergency fund. So my theory would be, the in-between, because I like the liquidity, is to keep your 3 to 6 months, whatever that number is. And then if you want more over 6 months,
right,
from what your initial one is, obviously once you have a house and stuff like that, right, you're got kids and stuff like that, once you're more settled in life, I would invest the rest in something that's broad, like a VU or a VTI, not investment advice. That's what I would do. I would not keep, because it's technically 7 months, unless unless you like move and get a bigger mortgage, right? You know what I mean? Or you have, 2 extra kids, then, unless you actually have a significant change in lifestyle, inflation isn't going to go up that much where you'll need to change your emergency fund. Because the issue is, if you have 6, most people's emergency fund is going to be tens of thousands of dollars. You would only need to tap into that from a necessity standpoint if you lose your job, which is, that's worst case scenario. But that emergency fund is really for things that your insurance doesn't cover. You don't use your emergency fund to pay for groceries. You use your emergency fund to pay for groceries if you don't have no job. You see what I'm saying? So that's like, the nuclear situation. Well, how do you conduct yourself? Well, yeah, you would use your emergency fund then. But as long as you still are employed, and again, over here, recommend not having any debt besides the mortgage first, you know what I mean? Like, so now we're talking about, your burn rate as far as how much money you have to spend on a monthly basis would be extremely low. Because if you lose your job, we obviously cutting everything out your budget. So your emergency fund's even higher for someone like you who do the whole budget for your emergency fund. You see what I'm saying? So it's not really a cut and dry answer for everybody, but in general, you really wouldn't need to increase it. Now, if inflation goes up, 8%, 10% for years, we have a whole other issue, because inflation's high. You know what I mean? It's like, now it's like, well, you need to increase your income. You know what I mean? Because it don't really matter at this point. But if you don't use your emergency fund, hopefully, you know what I mean? What I recommend, right? You wouldn't have any debt by the time you have your 3 to 6 months saved up. So your cash flow, right? Which I say for me, an emergency fund is not just a 3 to 6 months, but a 20% minimum cash flow, right? That should be able to take care of a lot of stuff where you have that buffer in between for actually tapping into your emergency fund. But yeah, I would say for those of you who want to bump it up for like this, if it's not at 6 months, right? Obviously, if you're at 3 months, then just bump it to 6, right? But for those of you who are at the 6 month standpoint, I would say just invest the rest in something like VU, VTI, something very broad, not investment advice, but something very broad. Obviously, here's the issue, right? Right now, the stock market's going down, which is why I wouldn't recommend putting the whole thing in there, because what is going to happen? Murphy's Law. You're gonna need the money when you're gonna put it all in there, and then you're gonna need the money, right? And it's gonna be down, 20, 10, 13%, whatever we're down for the year to date. So yeah, I would say if you're gonna go over 6 months, if you're looking at putting it up over 6 months, I would invest that. But if you're not at 6 months yet, then you need to put it to 6 months. Who cares what inflation is? You're not even at the general recommendation. Some people recommend 6 to 12 months. So the super conservative people, if you want to do that, that's fine. I've heard that too. 12 months. The issue is 12 months takes a long time. It's gonna take a long time to get to 12 months of expenses to save. That's likely going to take over a year. Most of you aren't spending less than 50%. If you're spending, never mind, y'all know the math. If you're spending more than 50, then by definition, you can't say if you spend over half your income, then you don't have the other half to save it to get it done in a year. So yeah, I would say once you get to adjust for cost of living, like I said, 10K per person, most that you're taking care of, you plan on taking care of living things for you animal lovers out there. But family of 4 and a dog, I would not have 50K saved. But when it's time to have 50K saved, for our age group, you should have a significant amount of wealth build if you listen to us. So you know what I mean. So in your situation, you would be at 40K. I would not have $40,000 saved in the bank, and that would be the most. Like, okay, if for the super conservative people, okay, that's the number. Anything other than that, you need to invest it. Now you worry about inflation.
Gotcha.
Because now your money's getting destroyed. Yeah, I mean, if you're seeing that your budget has gone up $1,000 on a monthly basis, then you can look at it. But then you got to turn around and save that money, and then that's what I talk about, the 20%. Like, if you got that cash flow there, then that's what you would use. At that time, we cut that stuff out your budget and use that $1,000 that month.
Yeah, because that was one of the really driving concerns around this question was like you were talking about your burn rate, and I was like, well, at this rate, your burn rate is literally changing, right? So if I have 6 months, do I really have 6 months if the burn rate has adjusted? You know what I mean, dramatically.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's time progressive.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. So like progression, right? No, more gym badges unlocked. So that emergency fund is just to get you started, so you understand what emergency fund is and when to tap into it, and to understand what a burn rate is. But your burn rate from an emergency fund standpoint for your entire budget is implying that you have no income. See, if you still have an income, then what your burn rate is, you wouldn't have a burn rate.
Right.
Now your emergency fund would be like for an emergency, like you have a $5,000 medical expense. That's not a burn rate. That's you have a $5,000 medical expense. The burn rate comes into play when you have no income, which, I mean, okay, dang, you're underfunded, but I mean, dang, you lost, the real issue is that you lost your job. And then also too, with the burn rate, like I said, if you're married, but if both of y'all lose your job, even though yours is for the entire budget, right, you would cut out the non-necessities because you would decrease your burn rate.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you're covered on both ends, but like, it's one of those things, the practicality of it. Now, if you have a reduction in income, that's different. Or you have like an uptick in medical expense, something like that. But if you're a 2-income household and you go from whatever you're at to $0, right, that's one thing. But then, like I said, too, shout out to the minimum wage episode. I already explained. Never mind. Yeah.
You did. All right.
Me, I don't know what anybody else is out here saying. The non-professionals like myself and the professionals. I don't know what anybody else tells you. For me, if you do what I say step by step, I'm not going to set you up where you need to tap into your emergency fund from a burn rate standpoint. Because likely you're going to be able to. I know you can get another job at McDonald's, and everyone's going to get mad at me. But when I'm going to look you in the face and say McDonald's and the state of Maryland is giving out $12.50 at least, and if both of you work full time, you and your spouse, that's $25. That's $50,000 a year. I know you and I want to, but if you tell groceries, rent. See, now look, I mean, mortgage. Now look, you got these debt payments.
No,
that's not my fault. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, is
right.
You can't, that's what I talk about. You walked into the kitchen with poop. I told you not to come in here with poop. and it's a wet floor. Then you slip, and it's like, dang, Corey, there's poop everywhere. I know how to mess up what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, I know, the counters, all the punches. I know the punches, but I don't recommend being in that situation, because you would have a different plan of attack for it. Obviously, if you're going to be in that situation. For those of you who let me answer that question. If you're going to have a whole bunch of debt, okay. If you're going to have a whole bunch of debt, then yeah, you might want to have your emergency fund up higher. You know why? Your emergency fund will naturally be higher because you have to make those debt payments. It's going to be a part of that burn rate that we calculate when we do for your emergency fund.
Right.
Just like your mortgages. Your mortgage is calculated inside of your emergency fund. Again, I don't know what everybody else recommends. Again, this is just me, Cory, speaking here. But for me, it's necessities and debt payments. For that's the floor of your emergency fund, and then that times 3 months. That's the minimum you should have. And then you get your debt payments out. You don't have to decrease your emergency fund, but that increases your cash flow. I talk about on that 20% on the other side of things. That's for those who never pick that up. That's how you get the 20% I talk about. You get those debt payments back into your budget, and so your emergency fund decrease as far as what's in your savings account. But that 20% side of things, that's how you get that back.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Now people want to keep all the subscriptions and stuff. I mean, what do you want me to say? I've never seen people who don't have money try to spend money. I've never seen it at this rate. On non-necessities. I've never seen it.
I will say I've had several discussions where it's like, well, if we ever were in these situations, because basically when you're calculating your emergency fund, you're going through a whole bunch of hypotheticals in your head. It's like, what if this happens? What if this happens? And if we're in the worst situation possible, then of course we would try to neglect some of the things in the lifestyle portion, right? But it's like, other than that, like even if I lost my job, I mean, based off what we got to say right now, we would still try to maintain, I think, our current standard of living, right? You know what I mean? Like, at least I would say at least the first 60 days, right? So, like, if we have 6 months saved up, first 2, it's like, okay, we ain't cutting the Netflix off right now. Like, you know what I mean? Now we get to the third month, you know what I mean? And I still don't have any income. Netflix got to go. Disney Plus got to go. You know what I'm trying to say? So then lifestyle starts changing, right?
And that was what you said. We say you don't have any income. That's the real conversation behind when you're burn rating the emergency fund. It's like, well, how long are you not going to have income slash the income that you need? But when you go to, and that's the thing, your emergency fund, the burn rate is if you have $0.00 for income. Any income you bring in decreases that burn rate by definition.
Okay.
Then I go back to the minimum wage conversation, and you have a conversation to say, well, you don't actually have to tap into your emergency fund at all if you do just your needs. Right. And if you build one based off everything, it all ends up playing together. So, yeah. And that's why I'm like, McDonald's, take your ass to McDonald's.
Oh, man.
And they pay more than 12. That's the minimum wage. This is all in Maryland. If you go to Montgomery, I think Montgomery County, like $15.
Got you. So you're saying like you should I mean, I won't say you should never, but for the most part, $0.00 is highly unlikely. At least for extended periods of time. You know what I'm saying? Like you might lose your job, and like you said, you get hired at McDonald's within a week or two, right?
Shout out to the in-game taxes. Even people in poverty. This is what I'm just like, even people in poverty, you can go on food. You know what I mean? just make use of the welfare system.
Right.
Nah, they take into account, I think, how much money you have saved. But I'm just saying though, you know what I mean? Like there's a whole bunch of ways to create an income, but like where you have no money at all, $0.00, man, that's not even a month. That's too. And then now we get into, we talked about earlier before about another episode about your skill set.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend our floors. I don't the entry is getting damn. I don't know about you. The entry is getting close to. I'm just saying. The entry is getting. But an entry level in the in the DMV state of Maryland area, entry level software engineer was $60K when we graduated.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
70-75 right now.
Yeah, so when I Jordan's like, no, I mean, just go get you an entry level job.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I know you might like it, but I mean, like, it's 70, it's 75.
Right. We gonna eat tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Which is the first thing in the budget for those who don't know. Food is first. You know what I mean? We gonna eat tomorrow. You know what I mean?
So and then also too, you kind of forget, but like, you can pay less in taxes. So it's not as big of, it's not. I mean, it's a big hit, but it's not big of a hit. But it's like, you can take care of the needs off of $75K if you don't have no debt. But you can take care of the needs. And then even if you have to tap into some stuff, for the burn rate, it's gonna be significantly lower. You know what I mean? So, but again, most people still got the debt, et cetera, et cetera. So then they deal with that. But yeah, the wrap up though, inflation wise, I wouldn't adjust it really at all. If you want to put in more and you're not at 6 months, right? For those of you who aren't at 6 months, go to 6 months. If you're at 6 months, you want to go over, I would truly look into investing some of it, because then you have to look at how much cash do you have on standby. That's where you have to look at it. And then also too, you do have to pay the taxes, obviously, if you liquidate your personal brokerage account, but that would be like and that's the thing too, when are you gonna pay something that's 40, 50? I mean, you know what I mean? Like the only time you make that type of purchase for a car or mortgage or student loans. Medical debt, you just take out the debt. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like you don't have to pay for medical bill. You know what I mean? Like they just you just charge it to you, regardless if you qualify for it or not. Yeah, that's one of the good things and bad things. You'll get taken care of. You're just gonna get set a bill. Then we got debt and we pay off your debt.
Figure it out later.
Yeah. So
got you. Okay.
All the answers.
Definitely good to know.
Yeah.
So for those out there, if you don't got an emergency fund, get an emergency fund. If you have an emergency fund and it's not maxed out, I'm just summarizing. If you got an emergency fund and it's not maxed out, max it out. Maxing it out meaning you get 6 months worth of it, right? And then after that, if like Cory was saying, inflation is crazy. You know what I mean? You adjust as necessary, but again, you ultimately just got to think about your burn rate and how you get. It's almost like falling out the sky, right? I mean, if you go on skydiving, you know what I mean? If you can add a parachute in there and slow yourself down from hitting the ground, then you know what I mean? It's better than going straight down. You know what I'm saying? hence the McDonald's and the Walmarts and the, you know what I mean? That conversation, right? Some income is better than no income. That's what I'm
exactly. Yeah, and not to mention too, some people do jump out of planes. Y'all know what type of people, but some people jump out of planes without a parachute. Don't adjust that to the financial conversation. I don't recommend you jump out the plane without the parachute. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, don't do that. Look at that.
Yeah, now somebody has to come get you with a parachute.
Right.
Let's be very clear.
Yeah. And they gotta have their parachute plus one for you. Like, you know what I mean?
It's like, that's just too much. Don't just create the worst, case scenario possible and then be like, dang, what do I do? It's like, that's very, few and far in between.
Right.
So yeah, but I would say really just adjust your monthly budget. Just that's what I did. I didn't think, oh, now I got to increase my emergency fund. It's like, dang, let me add a couple more dollars. Nah, I wish it was a couple more. It's more than a couple more dollars. it is. I wish it was $2 more. But I bumped up the grocery budget, and I was already like, it might be time to bump up utilities too. But I already bumped up the grocery budget at $25 per week. Yeah. So $100.
Yeah, I think we're that's literally on par with what we did. Same thing for the grocery budget.
And it's just like, damn.
Yeah. The problem is though, you know what's crazy? I'm not eating more. I'm eating the same amount of food.
No. The stuff just costs more. It just costs more. It's nothing's improved, and it's one of those things too. Where I'm thinking like I might need to. It's at 175 now. I'm like, I might need to put it at 200 because I don't want to. You know how your brain works, but I'm like, let me just put it. We're not buying $800 with the groceries. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, let's be very clear. That's the one budget where it's like, if I had to, if it's got to get moved, it's going to move. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Something else just gets cut, right? The good thing is, I think we've already prioritized the budget in such a way where when things do have to get cut, you know what I mean? Those things that aren't priorities to cut first, right?
So that's what I would mainly do. I mean, I feel like this. You have to adjust your budget if you're adjusting your emergency fund, because that means your budget, like you're paying already for that stuff. So that was sort of redundant when I said that. But, I hope you have to do that, and you probably wouldn't bump it up more. Yeah, and as you get over a third of your income, well, not, it's obviously people, but as you get around a third of your income in liquid cash, it's like that's a lot. Yeah, 3 months. If you just save money for 3 months, let me think. Yeah, I'm thinking about mine. Yeah, that's like you probably don't need that.
Gotcha.
And need it in a high. You need the money. You need it
right. Yeah.
You need it in a high yield savings.
Yeah. Yeah. You're just saying on hand, readily available.
Yeah. You might want to move that to a personal brokerage account.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. Yeah. So you want to do next
appreciate
one?
It. Yeah. What? So where we at?
We got 122.
No.
The question. It's Instagram. It's the Instagram one. You see at the bottom?
Okay. All right. Let me click.
You have to click and open it. Yeah.
I bought 100,000.
Okay.
I'm gonna play it.
You gonna play it out? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going I'm gonna preface it while Corey's setting up. So this came from, again, another one of our listeners. This is a very interesting question. I'm actually curious to hear the answer myself. So it is a snippet of, I'm not sure what the gentleman's name is, but the @ on the reel is Marvin Mitchell Official. And it's basically a gentleman, I'm gonna let Cory play the video, but he's talking about his insurance policy. And I believe he's going into detail about how he's potentially borrowing money from that policy to play with in an investing state. And I think for this one, he mentions not even like a well thought out play. I think it's like GameStop. Yeah, for people who aren't familiar with what we're talking about, GameStop had a squeeze, right? So there was some information put out that GameStop was going to basically be shorted. People put money in. It happened, and then they got out, right? Those things don't usually occur like that, but that is what this gentleman is talking. So I'm gonna let Cory play the video out loud.
Yes, fair use.
$100,000. $100,000.
It's fading in and out, bro.
You said what?
It's fading in and out. We couldn't hear it. Say one more. Rewind it back.
Oh, you can't hear it? Okay.
No.
Said I'm gonna go ahead.
You can't hear it?
Nah, it's like breaking up. Is it okay if I just put it up to
Yeah,
the mic?
you play. Yeah, you play. Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so this is said video, y'all. I'm gonna start it over.
$1,000 from their policy. I said, I'm gonna go ahead and do a one-day play on GameStop, which means that if it goes down by 100 points, I make $300,000. So I did the $100,000 option play. It went down. I got my $100,000 back plus an additional $300,000. I just paid my $100,000 back, so now I'm $300,000 up. And you only did it for one day. One day. You knew that. You knew today. Shit rate get crazy. Just one day. But here's the deal. Now you might say, well, that's still risky because if you would have lost, you would have lost $100,000. Now, would I really have lost $100,000? Because they would take it out your death. Ooh, there you go. And my death benefit was like $1 million. So worst case scenario, my money's still growing as if I never touched it, and it's just subtracted from my death benefit. Best case scenario, I made $300,000, and that's what I did. I borrowed $100,000 from their policy. So I said, I'm gonna go ahead and do it.
That's the video, y'all. So.
Okay, fair use. You said this from a viewer.
Yes, this is from shout out to my boy Saxa Rose.
It's from Tony.
Yes, sir.
He's gonna talk to me about. Is he thinking about doing shit? Talk to me. All right. Let me be clear. What he just said in this video is gambling. What he said in this video, like literally what he said to do in this video, not the general technique taken from a life insurance policy. Taking from a life insurance policy and then using it in a one-day option call is gambling. This is not an opinion. 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 Oh, let's also be clear. Then now we put the layers on it. Should you use leverage to invest? Most people don't recommend you use leverage, margin, etc. How you want to define it for debt? I mean, to invest. Don't use debt to invest. Now, when you use the life insurance policy, he's probably talking about IUL, Index Universal Life Insurance Policy, where you can take from the policy. That's where it gets confusing in the sense of, as he said, he had this $1 million policy and he took $100K from it, right? And so if he loses the $100K, he technically isn't out the $100K, quote unquote, because then if he die, then he needs to die. By the way, those who don't know how life insurance works, for you to get for the death benefit, for the death benefit to get paid out, someone has to die. I don't like banking too many things on people dying. Unless it's video game related. I don't like to. And this is when it's like, this is why people, welcome to Cory's court, but this is why people need to get pressed more. And it's like, what do we know? I don't know what I know. I'm not a fiduciary. I guess he's not fiduciary either. But it's like, hold on, bro. You gotta die. You just said you gotta die. That's what he said.
Oh gosh.
So I don't recommend you. Now let me say this. I do recommend you have the estate planning, the life insurance, everything set up, the wills, everything, trust, etc. for when you die, because you will. But don't have it set up to where you can take a high risk, borderline gambling play and be like, oh, it's okay. When I die, you get the money back. That's not I don't know who that. I guess that's his financial advice. That's not a general recommendation. I haven't heard any fiduciaries say. That's the thing. That's why you gotta listen to fiduciaries. I'm not fiduciary, but fiduciaries highly unlikely they'll say that. I'm gonna guess on when it comes to being unethical and then breaking the law.
That's crazy. That's gotta be wild.
Yeah, you're gonna hear people like me, other people who aren't certified, so we can just get on here and say what the hell we want. But I'd be damned if you see a professional say that on wax like he did for the internet to see, and me and Jordan come on here and talk about it. I'd be surprised. Okay, so to attack the points that he just says, so you got the IUL. I don't think he didn't say what type of policy it was, but it was likely IUL. It was under like the whole life insurance policy situation, where essentially you have the policy, for your entire life. Way Index Universal Life policies are set up. And you might have seen the Waka Flocka video about this, but essentially you can take money out of the policy because you're putting money in right when you're paying the premiums. You're putting money in. So you have a death benefit, which comes with the term policy as well. And then when you do any of the whole life ones, whole life, index, universal life, etc., you have the death benefit, obviously that $1 million policy was talking about, and you have a cash value. Okay. So in short, you got to pay more money than you would for a term so you can build some cash value. And then what the index universal life policies do is they make it so you get a floor and a ceiling. The floor is usually 0%. So it's in something like an S&P 500 and index universal. So it's an S&P 500 index. And they make it so like this year, those people are doing well because it's 0%. The floor is 0%. So you can't lose. You can't essentially lose any money, where someone like me got their money in Vo2. I'm losing money because it's going down. Okay. But then what they do is they also set a ceiling, and the ceiling is somewhere like 10, 12%, something like that. So last year you would have capped out because S&P 500 did like 30% last year. Okay.
Gotcha.
So now you got to, do significant amount of math, right? See what right. And so what are the general numbers, or the general recommendation is you don't use an insurance policy as an investment strategy. That's just because they're not, they both start with the letter I, but I do not recommend that you would use them for the same thing. Okay. So that
GameStop for those look, my man's out here with
emotional damage.
Now for him, he said it worked out, but that's not the case for everybody.
And see, and me, Cory's Court. I mean, he just said that.
That's true.
I posted that I lost all that money in AMC. That's on the.
He got the mint receipts to prove it. You know what I mean? Look at it. Look.
I know. I posted Vanguard. I got the brokerage receipts. Y'all see that? So it's a big ass arrow going the wrong way. Yeah. It's in my mint too, as far as my net worth, but it's not as verbal. It's not as
I got you.
As potent, the brokerage.
Explicit, right?
Yeah, but it's like I was like, you can see in both though, and Vanguard is clear because that's all that's there. But it's like, yo, I prefer receipts, especially in something like this. And then me listening a lot. He said it'd be like I had $1 million policy. He didn't say I have $1 million policy. See now, welcome to court. All right, it's Cory's Court. We're gonna see what's the stenographer. You said like you have, which means like not that you do. So like, do you actually? Then that's why we prefer receipts around here, because anybody can say math. I mean, again, Jordan and I got the computer science degree, so we want to do math. You know what I mean? So
right.
Okay, like the math is what it is. We don't fight on math over here. But as far as execution, and not saying he did or did not do that, but when you have, it's a real right by a real something like that. That was on Gillian Wallow's $1 Million with the Game podcast as well, one of the biggest podcasts out there. So it's one of those things where it's like you got to be careful with the scammers, et cetera, et cetera. Not saying that he was a scammer, but this is one of the things where you need the receipts. And if I got to pay to see these type of receipts, up to a point. You know what I mean? Especially Jordan not being on the developer side, you can just change that for instance.
You really can. It's not hard.
With no development skills, by the way. He's got to click the inspector tools. But so should you do this? Right now the answer to the question, no, I don't recommend using debt, leverage, margin, etc. to invest, regardless if you want to make use of it. Now, there's an insurance aspect, right? And then there's how you use that money as far as if you have cash value in it. I don't recommend you ever use it to invest. Now, here's the issue: is it debt? It has to be debt because you take money from the IUL, and this was like, now people will be live. They was talking to me right now. When you take the money out, the IUL, it's a loan. That's why you don't pay no taxes on it. So you're definitely using debt. Now you're taking a loan from yourself technically, but it's your policy, but you pay the, but it's like, and then also too, with the death benefit situation, for me personally, I got $1 million policy. I hope I got it. So $1 million gets kicked out. I didn't get it. So less than $1 million. You know what I mean? Now it's just a simple logic of why'd you get the $1 million policy? Just get $900,000 policy then.
Does that mean he also is locked in? If he has $1 million policy and he takes the 100,000 and spends it, let's say he doesn't make his money back and he's out of 100,000. My experience, because I don't have an IUL, is that you can change life insurance policies, right? Like at any point in time, I can drop my current policy provider and pick up another policy provider. I'm pretty sure there's legal windows between when you can come back to the same provider, right? But for the most part, you can change, come and go as you please, right? Now, if in his situation, if he borrows that money, you just said it becomes a loan. There has to be some type of stipulation.
Yeah, you gotta pay it. Yeah, you gotta pay it back. You pay it back within think about like a 401k loan.
Okay.
But not like when you lose your job, you gotta pay it all back. I don't know how it works like that. But as far as when you take a 401k loan, you as soon as you take it out, you're paying it right back. Part of it because you're still making contributions. So in those monthly premiums, you're putting that money back.
Gotcha. But he's
Right,
locked
yeah.
into that policy, right? He can't just like leave, like, oh, I don't want this
You
$1
know,
anymore.
it's insurance, so I wouldn't be, if it's, insurance is scam land. So if there would ever be something where you can get out of it, but I highly doubt you can get out. But you might be able to get out of it if you still have the cash value in there, and they'll take it from that. Because the issue is, they say that you can't get the cash value. Let's say you have 100,000, like you said, he got $100,000, right?
Right.
And he had a $1 million policy, right? So that means that policy, I guess, quote unquote, is valued at $1.1 million, right? Well, when you die, to my knowledge, you don't get both. You get you get the death benefit. You get the death benefit minus whatever you owe. And then in his case, he wouldn't owe anything, right? If he didn't take the 100K out. So that 100K, you don't get that back. And that's why they say do term and then invest the difference. IUL, even whole life, that's, higher income. We're looking at more ways to more tax advantage ways, right? The crucial taxable burden, but for not the average American, for the majority of Americans, the 99%, it's likely not beneficial. And the whole life IUL, it's one of those things where literally everybody says it's trash, it's a scam, but the people who have it / sell it. It's one of those things where like it's hard to it's a very polarizing topic. And it's one of the things like, damn, why can't you just find, like, what's the answer? You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where it's hard to figure out what the true source of truth, but the source of truth is for it. But everything I've seen, it's the people who sell it and have it. Oh yeah, obviously. But then the people, it's not like people are like, it's like, no, don't get it. don't get it. This is a scam. All caps, you know what I mean? Like all caps. Right. And you can always tell when people, and also too, obviously the people who sell, right, they make a commission. Right. So, the best salesmen, right, are the best salesmen are salesmen and women. Okay. So, they make money off of it. But from what he said, do not use debt for a 1-day option call. I think he said a call, not a put. So assume it's going to go up. Don't do that. Also, don't do it if $100,000 might not have been a lot to him. Don't do it for 100K. Please don't do it for 100K. Okay.
That's crazy.
Because people are terminating themselves when they see them Robinhood accounts, okay, as well. So I wouldn't do that. Let me see what these comments are saying.
That's like betting 100K on a hand of blackjack. Like it either happens or you know what I mean. Like I was telling somebody the story the other day when we went to the casino and I lost. I think it was $200 in 5 minutes. Oh man! But just imagine that with a larger stake, right? Like $100,000. A hand of blackjack don't take but maybe 30, 45 seconds to play. Depends on how many people are at the table. But you bust, you over 21, it's gone. Just like that. Numbers don't go where he thinks they're gonna go. It's you know what I mean? It's 100K out the window.
Yeah. And not to mention too, one, he didn't do a call, he did a put because he said if it goes down 100 points, that's when probably black if he did a put there. But he said $300,000 for those. And again, end game is taxes. That's short-term capital gains. Now I need him to explain to me how he's offsetting that. The 300. Let's put it like this. Now, let me because by the way, tax avoidance completely legal, recommended by the IRS. Tax evasion against the law. Okay, so now you're gonna show me how you're gonna avoid these taxes.
Well,
and there's also a thing too. No, you can't see people's just information. It's gonna be like president stuff like that. But like he has to put like 300K in 1 day is going on short-term capital gains. This is what I mean. Right. Like now it's like I don't give a flying F what you fiduciaries say. I need to. This is on his taxes. He has to find he can offset it. But this is not an opinion. By the way, 300K is 35%, I think. Tax bracket. If I don't know if he's single or not, but if he's single, it's 35%. If he's married, it's gonna be 24. No, yeah, 24.
So I mean, that's definitely that's recorded income. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
So it's one of those things where the taxes. Please don't do this stuff. And y'all did this. This was the 2021 issue. Y'all knew how to take your gains. Was doing all these short-term capital gains. You see all these options. Everybody making plays. This money is like your ordinary income. You got to pay tax. You got to pay. You get to file it on your taxes. So if you're doing this type of stuff.
Don't be out here in these streets if you can't afford the tax implications.
Yeah. That's it's a mess. And like I said, Yeah, take from the death benefit. Death benefit was like $1 million. So worst case scenario, $900,000. You have to die. Why does
Oh man.
by definition that does make it worst case scenario if you're dead, right? But yeah, then he says.
And also, I see it as also cheating the next generation, right? Because you or whoever your beneficiary is, even if it's not the next generation. You know what I mean? If I got you $1 million policy, I got with the intent of you having all $1 million if I am no longer here, right? How what kind of situation am I in where I am now playing with that money that I have allotted for you and been paying paying on the policy this whole time, right?
Yeah.
So I'm basically if you like stealing from your children, go ahead and take $100,000 for your $1 million policy and drop it in the market and see how that goes.
Yeah, and this is one of the things too. And I obviously people already got a link to the website. My Path to Prosperity. Now, don't listen to if you know anything about prosperity gospel, they be selling you a book of lies. But so don't trust the prosperity words. But like I said, most people are not going to recommend leverage margin investing. Most people are not going to recommend that. Which in short, this is what this is. Now, whether you do IUL, that's a different conversation. But most people don't recommend margin investing to the stock market, should I say? And that's what that is when you use debt for the stock market margin investing. Now, if you want to use that and get real estate, something like that, that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, I'm just looking at the comments now. Everybody, thumbs up in it. Yeah. And it's one of those things where, very risky, not an investment that got lucky. 90% of options end up being work. Yeah, then shoot percentages. I think it's 95% of day traders win. And this isn't even day trading. Like most day trading is like, I think a week or something like that. Like this is an hour trading. You're doing it right then and there. But yeah. All right. Do you have anything else on that?
No, sir.
Oh my goodness. People saying they're gonna talk to their financial advisor about this. This type of plays that excite me.
Please don't. Please don't.
And you know what?
Let's
end it on this. Right, we go way over time. Black people, the net worth is going down, so I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. I see people. Yeah. We whatever everybody is saying is not working for people who are not like Jordan and I is telling you to not have any debt, which means we're definitely going to make sure it goes up.
Right. All right. It's a good place to end it.
Look, man, don't do this, y'all. But yeah, we good. Locked and loaded.
Gotcha.
I'm reading the comments. I'm on social media. I'm back in the matrix. All right, wrap up section. First,
let's wrap it
dang,
up.
We slacking. We gotta get better on our thing. Well, I guess it's your fault or my fault. We've got to switch the question. Here's a fitness question. The finance question for y'all. Should you leverage your life insurance policy for investments? We'll let that ride so we can have it on tape. But Jordan, fit or fib, spot reduction can be used to reduce fat in specific parts of the body.
Let's go ahead. So there we go. Boom. Look at that. So just wrapping up, spot reduction is false. Okay, you cannot use a process to target specific fat loss in a part of the body. However, what you can do is create a caloric deficit, focus on muscle gain. All right. By definition, by gaining muscle, your body will lose fat. All right. For those hard to reach areas, again, we talked about alpha A2 and B2 receptors, alpha 2 and beta 2 receptors. Alpha 2 is your stubborn fat. Beta 2 is your visceral fat. To target your stubborn fat, you want to participate in HIIT exercises at your Vo2 Max of 70% or higher to target those hard to reach areas. So ladies, if you want to get that Coke bottle shape that you've been talking about, lose the flat tummy tea in the waist trainer. All right, get out here, get your HIIT on. Again, get that Vo2 Max up and get this work. Now, Cory, to wrap up that finance section.
Yes, the first question was, at what point, dang, it didn't do, I tried to do it. At what point do you readjust your 3-6 months emergency fund for inflation? I don't recommend you adjust it. If you're not at 6 months, then adjust it to 6 months. Obviously, as I was saying towards the end, if you're adjusting your emergency fund due to inflation, by definition, your budget has to have gone up as well. I really just recommend increasing, what you have to pay for from a necessity standpoint. Really, your emergency fund is used for things that your insurance doesn't cover, and then if you lose your job, right? However, if you lose your job, your emergency fund burn rate, for those who do your entire expenses, including your lifestyle, is going to drop drastically. If you have no job, you don't get Netflix. I hope you all know this. Okay. If I haven't said it before, I'm saying it now. Okay. But then, obviously, as I said about the minimum wage episode, you likely can quickly get a job to help offset your burn rate. So now your emergency fund release in 3 to 6 months. Remember, 3 to 6 months is based if you have no income. Okay.
Right.
We highly recommend you go get some income. Okay. All right. I mean, hell, you can get on food stamps. Again, like I said, I think they take account all like even the money you have in your bank account. But in general, like there's government plans out there. And then if you're looking to put up more than 6 months emergency fund, anything over 6 months, I would definitely look into investing, not investment advice, but something that's something broad like VU or VTI, something that's going to get you a lot of exposure and more on the conservative side of things. So you can outpace inflation. You don't want to have but so much money just sitting there in your bank account. You need to get some still liquid, right? Stock market, but some better assets from an inflationary standpoint. And then the last question is, should you leverage your life insurance policy for investments? This is a video from Marvin Mitchell, and that is his name, by the way. It says Marvin Mitchell Official. So I'm pretty sure this is him. But he was on Gillian Wallow's $1 Million with the Game podcast. And essentially he said he had a life insurance policy, took out $100,000 from it, and made a GameStop play, and ended up hitting $300,000. And that play he did in one day. Don't recommend using margin, debt, whatever to invest, particularly in the stock market. Okay. Don't recommend that. Should you get an IUL? That's on you. There's multiple conversations on what you should do as far as insurance policy outside of term. Term is only one that's straightforward because you get it for a certain amount of time period and then for a term, and then it ends. All the other ones have a different, I'm just saying they're straightforward policies. All the other policies have a lot of different red tape, not red tape, but a lot of different strings attached to them. There we go. As far as how they work, it's on you if you want to do that. But just the general where he said he took out $100,000 from his life insurance policy, and then that same day invested it to try to make $300,000. Not invested, but made an option play. Do not do that. That's gambling. That's not investing. That's gambling. Recommend you invest over here. If you want to gamble, go ahead and gamble, but don't gamble with debt. By the way.
Definitely don't use $100,000.
Well, depend on your income right now. But yeah, don't use $100,000. Depend on how much money you got. But and also if you win money from gambling, you gotta put it on your taxes. Remember, you gotta file that type of stuff. Okay, most people, by the way, are committing tax evasion, which is against the law. Not tax avoidance, but tax evasion. Tax evasion is very clear cut. Any money you make, you're supposed to file it on your taxes. I try to tell y'all. Then y'all out here snitching. Then y'all out here doing a DoorDash crap we talked about earlier. All right.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that either. But all right, you good to go?
Yes, sir.
All right, locked and loaded.
All right. So Corey.
Yes.
If people wanted to get their budget together so they don't have to run up a $17,000 tab on DoorDash when a glitch happens, how can they find you?
Nah, if you try and do something like this, don't find me. I don't like to be involved in anything illegal. I don't do that. Now you can follow me at Cylon_Cory. That's Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. On Twitter and Instagram, my link tree is there. We have my pricing: $50 for once a month, $100 to meet every week, $20 ad hoc call. I might need to change the ad hoc call one. Regardless of $20 ad hoc call. $20 for ad hoc call. Okay. Now, and we will discuss life insurance. We'll talk about IULs and things like that and what you should do, and creating an emergency fund and things like that. We won't talk about using margin. I'll tell you not to do it, but we won't discuss. I don't tell you how to do dumb things or things that I think are dumb. So okay. Now, Jordan.
Yes, sir.
If people want to not do spot reduction, but actually, learn how to lose weight and fat, what should they do?
You should follow me at Stop Stalling J. That's STOPSTALLINGJAY on Twitter, on Instagram, and on TikTok. All right. Business page, FinallyFit06. That's FINALLFIT06. That's on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. All right. Business website is FinallyFit.live, www.FinallyFit.live, where you can check us out. Pay $60 to get a monthly membership. What does that do? That gets you 2 workouts a week with yours truly, and also a monthly check-in where we create your goal, create milestones to make sure that you hit that goal. All right, as well as access to our virtual library for all previous classes that you can hit on your own free time. Okay. For those that would like to travel to the Hartford County area and get this work in person, I am currently offering 3 sessions for $100, each session being an hour. Okay. So that's 3 sessions in a week period for $100, or 1 session for $40 an hour. Okay. All right.
That's it. All right. Yep. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. We are on YouTube, Cordan in full effect. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, Spotify. Please leave the rate and reviews. Please continue to send us your questions. George, we had some questions in the tuck, so we actually have to get. We did it bad. We're supposed to actually answer your questions before we do anything. I know I got 1 or 2 more questions to do.
Gotcha.
And then as y'all can see, damn, it's almost 2 hours. Yeah, okay, we'll work on it. But try to get back. We're still figuring out how to do the current events. We discussed removing them and releasing them. Maybe what we'll have to do, bro, real honestly, is just come on here and just do the current events and then drop it. So it's actually a current. I guess we'll discuss that. Yeah.
That's
all right.
Yeah. We'll talk about all
that. Yeah. Non-questions. Well, we did that today. I think this is the first live current event.
Yes.
Okay. So we got progress there at least.
Right. Depending on what's happening in the world and how much is happening at one time, current events might just have to have their own episode. It's okay. You know what I mean?
Some current events we just skip because it's like, how fast news cycles move. But yep, that's it. Do you have anything else?
No, sir. I think we're good to go.
All right, y'all. So remember to save more and say less,
and keep making better your best.
And we will catch y'all in the
next one.